quarters, he had the good fortune to come upon Chief Inspector Ganimard. "Are you disengaged, Monsieur Ganimard?" "If it's about Lupin, no." "It is about Lupin." "Then I shan't stir." "What! You give up?" "I give up the impossible. I'm tired of this unequal contest of which we are certain to have the worst. It's cowardly, it's ridiculous, it's anything you please, I don't care. Lupin is stronger than we are. Consequently, there's nothing to do but give in." "I'm not giving in." "He'll make you give in like the rest of us." "Well, it's a sight that can't fail to please you." "That's true enough," said Ganimard, innocently. "And as you seem to want another beating, come along." Ganimard and Shears stepped into the cab. They told the driver to stop a little way before he came to the house and on the other side of the avenue, in front of a small café. They sat down outside it, among tubs of laurels and spindle trees. The light was beginning to wane. "Waiter," said Shears, "pen and ink." He wrote a note and, calling the waiter again, said: "Take this to the concierge of the house opposite. It's the man in the cab smoking his pipe in the gateway." The concierge hurried across, and after Ganimard had announced himself as a chief inspector, Shears asked if a young lady in black had called at the house on Sunday morning. "In black? Yes, about 9 o'clock. She's the one who goes up to the second floor." "Do you see much of her?" "No, but she's been oftener lately, almost every day during the past fortnight." "And since Sunday?" "Only once, without counting today." "What! Has she been today?" "She's there now." "She's there now?" "Yes, she came about 10 minutes ago. Her cab is waiting on the Place Saint Ferdinand, as usual. I passed her in the gateway." "And who is the tenant of the second floor?" "There are two: a dressmaker, Mademoiselle Langeais, and a gentleman who hired a couple of furnished rooms a month ago, under the name of Bresson." "What makes you say 'under the name'?" "I have an idea that it's an assumed name. My wife does his rooms. Well, he hasn't 2 articles of clothing marked with the same initials." "How does he live?" "Oh, he's almost always out. Sometimes he does not come home for 3 days together." "Did he come in on Saturday night?" "On Saturday night? Wait while I think. Yes, he came in on Saturday night and hasn't stirred out since." "And what sort of a man is he?" "Faith, I couldn't say. He changes so! He's tall, he's short, he's fat, he's thin, dark and fair. I don't always recognize him." Ganimard and Shears exchanged glances. "It's he," muttered Ganimard. "It must be he." For a moment, the old detective experienced a real agitation, which betrayed itself by a deep breath and a clenching of the fists. Shears, too, although more master of himself, felt something clutching at his heart. "Look out!" said the concierge. "Here comes the young lady." As he spoke, Mademoiselle appeared in the gateway and crossed the square. "And here is Monsieur Bresson." "Monsieur Bresson? Which is he?" "The gentleman with the parcel under his arm." "But he's taking no notice of the girl. She's going to her cab alone." "Oh, well, I've never seen them together." The two detectives rose hurriedly. By the light of the street lamps, they recognized Lupin's figure, as he walked away in the opposite direction to the square. "Which will you follow?" asked Ganimard. "Him, of course. He's big game." "Then I'll shadow the young lady," suggested Ganimard. "No, no," said the Englishman quickly, not wishing to reveal any part of the case to Ganimard. "I know where to find the young lady when I want her. Don't leave me." At a distance, and availing themselves of the occasional shelter of the passers-by in the kiosks, Ganimard and Shears set off in pursuit of Lupin. It was an easy enough pursuit, for he did not turn around and walked quickly, with a slight lameness in the right leg, so slight that it needed the eye of a trained observer to perceive it. "He's pretending to limp," said Ganimard. And he continued: "Ah, if we could only pick up 2 or 3 policemen and pounce upon the fellow! As it is, here's a chance of our losing him." But no policemen appeared in sight before the Porte d'Eterne, and, once the fortifications were passed, they could not reckon on the least assistance. "Let us separate," said Shears. "The place is deserted." They were on the Boulevard Victor Hugo. They each took a different pavement and followed the line of the trees. They walked like this for 20 minutes, until the moment when Lupin turned to the left and along the Seine. Here they saw him go down to the edge of the river. He remained there for a few seconds, during which they were unable to distinguish his movements. Then he climbed up the bank again and returned by the way he had come. They pressed back against the pillars of a gate. Lupin passed in front of them. He no longer carried a parcel. And, as he moved away, another figure appeared from behind the corner of a house and slipped in between the trees. Shears said in a low voice: "That one seems to be following him too." "Yes, I believe I saw him before as we came." The pursuit was resumed, but was now complicated by the presence of this figure. Lupin followed the same road, passed through the Porte des Ternes again, and entered the house on the Place Saint-Ferdinand. The concierge was closing the door for the night when Ganimard came up. "You saw him, I suppose?" "Yes, I was turning off the gas on the stairs. He has bolted his door." "Is there no one with him?" "No one. He doesn't keep a servant. He never has his meals here." "Is there no back staircase?" "No." Ganimard said to Shears: "The best thing will be for me to place myself outside Lupin's door, while you go to the Rue des Mours and fetch the commissary of police. I'll give you a line for him." Shears objected: "Suppose he escapes meanwhile?" "But I shall be here. Single-handed, it would be an unequal contest between you and him." "Still, I can't break into his rooms. I'm not entitled to, especially at night." Shears shrugged his shoulders: "Once you've arrested Lupin, no one will haul over the coals for the particular manner in which we effected the arrest. Besides, we may as well ring the bell, what? Then we'll see what happens." They went up the stairs. There was a double door on the left of the landing. Ganimard rang the bell. Not a sound. He rang again. No one stirred. "Let's go in," muttered Shears. "Yes, come along." Nevertheless, they remained motionless, irresolute. Like people who hesitate before taking a decisive step, they were afraid to act. And it suddenly seemed to them impossible that Arsène Lupin should be there, so near to them, behind that frail partition, which they could smash with a blow of their fists. They, both of them, knew him too well, demon that he was, to admit that he would allow himself to be nabbed so stupidly. No, no, 1,000 times no, he was not there. He must have escaped by the adjoining houses, by the roofs, by some suitably prepared outlet. And once again, the shadow of Arsène Lupin was all that they could hope to lay hands upon. They shuddered. An imperceptible sound coming from the other side of the door had, as it were, grazed the silence. And they received the impression, the certainty, that he was there after all, separated from them by that thin wooden partition, and that he was listening to them, that he heard them. What were they to do? It was a tragic situation. For all their coolness as old stagers of the police, they were overcome by so great an excitement that they imagined they could hear the beating of their own hearts. Ganimard consulted Shears with a silent glance, and then struck the door violently with his fist. A sound of footsteps was now heard, a sound which there was no longer any attempt to conceal. Ganimard shook the door. Shears gave an irresistible thrust with his shoulder and burst it open, and they both rushed in. Then they stopped short. A shot resounded in the next room, and another, followed by the thud of a falling body. When they entered, they saw the man lying with his face against the marble of the mantelpiece. He gave a convulsive movement. His revolver slipped from his hand. Ganimard stooped and turned the dead man's head. It was covered with blood, which trickled from two large wounds in the cheek and temple. "There's no recognizing him," he whispered. "One thing is certain," said Shears. "It's not he." "How do you know? You haven't even examined him." The Englishman sneered. "Do you think Arsène Lupin is the man to kill himself?" "Still, we believed we knew him outside." "We believed because we wanted to believe. The fellow besets our minds." "Then it's one of his accomplices." "Arsène Lupin's accomplices do not kill themselves." "Then who is it?" They searched the body. In one pocket, Holmlock Shears found an empty note-case. In another, Ganimard found a few louis. There were no marks on his linen or on his clothes. The trunk